Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from the basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. Happy New Year. Hope you had a wonderful New Year's celebration. Katie and I went out for dinner on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, we went out for dinner. You ever been to Tarquin Argentinian restaurant? It's Benson Road and North Cliff Avenue. And it is absolutely fantastic. Katie and I were there and actually went out for dinner. It was, and we really, really enjoyed it. It is, I think if you want a nice evening out, it's a little bit more expensive, maybe, but I'll tell you what, it's absolutely worth it. The atmosphere, the people, the staff, the food. I got a ribeye steak, and the thing was like massive. I mean, seriously, it was like this big. I get this ribeye steak, and there were, and then you get a couple of sides. I had some potatoes and mushrooms for the steak, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. It was perfect. We had some, I forget what kind of cake we ordered. We had some cake afterward. Oh, but it was just a great way. And we got there early, so the New Year's Eve crowd hadn't started coming in yet. We were there around 5:00, I think, on New Year's Eve. And I really recommend it. In fact, Katie and I made a promise to each other. I said, because it had been a couple of years since we'd been there last, I think about 2 years. And I told her, I said, can you and I promise that we're not going to wait, that we're going to be back here in a few months, enjoying this again? Because Katie is... okay, I don't think I'll get in trouble for this, but she can be a little bit finicky. And when she goes to a lot of places, you know, I won't say finicky. She's very particular about what she likes. She is very particular, and she loved it. And she's loved it every time we've been there. I think this was like her third or fourth time back, fourth time, I think. And we agreed, we're going back. If you want a nice, relaxing evening out, it was really nice. That's what we did on New Year's Eve. And then, as usual, I was asleep, I think, by 8 or 9 o'clock. So I don't make it very late, but I hope you had a wonderful New Year's celebration. Great to be with you this morning. A couple of things that are going on that I want to share with you. We're finding out a little bit more about Tommy Lee Jones' daughter, and his daughter Victoria was only 34 years old. And the New York Post is reporting now she died from a suspected drug overdose. She was found unresponsive on the ground at the San Francisco hotel where she was staying. So she was, I guess, found unconscious inside the Fairmont Hotel and declared dead by paramedics. This was about 3 a.m. yesterday morning. Just sad. 34 years old. New York Post has a story and photos of her and her dad, and then her and oh my God, she looks like her dad. You can just see an incredible resemblance. At least it jumped out at me. That's just an incredibly sad story. Also, President Trump on True Social saying this morning, I talked about this on the air this morning. The president, about 7 hours ago, saying if Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, The United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go, the president said. So that was on True Social around 3 a.m. this morning. Then the president followed it up with a number of other posts. A couple of them I want to share with you. While we're talking about Iran, the New York Post editorial board. So you'll find this at the New York Post. They have a piece really saying that these Iranians who are protesting need to hear from America, that they need to hear from America. And the New York Post is saying, don't be like President Barack Obama, who time and again flinched from publicly siding with Iranian protesters. Obama was too busy trying to appease the regime into cooperating with his demented nuclear deal. And they say Team Trump's approach has already proved far more to the point, bombing Iran's nuke program into smithereens. But it is, you've seen, again, the people of Iran who have risen up a number of times. In the last 15 years, they have risen up a number of times. So these latest protests then went in. Yesterday was the 5th day of protests, and you wonder as to whether or not they will continue today. There were like seven people, I think, who were killed. And this is why you see the president responding on True Social and saying that, if you're going to kill protesters, knock it off. You're going to have bigger problems to deal with than protesters in the street. And you can understand, I was talking about, mentioned on the air this morning, how inflation in Iran right now is over 42%, 42.2% inflation. That was the last number I saw. Just absolutely incredible. The president also said a few hours ago, said the White House doctors have just reported that I am in perfect health and that I aced, meaning was correct on 100% of the questions asked for the third straight time, my cognitive examination, something which no other president or previous vice president was willing to take. He said, P.S. I strongly believe that anyone running for president or vice president should be mandatorily forced to take a strong, meaningful, and proven cognitive examination. Our great country cannot be run by stupid or incompetent people. Doesn't that rule out a lot of America? The president also has got a number of posts on True Social this morning that caught my attention. And he linked to a FoxNews.com story. Green energy company in the hot seat after bald eagles knocked out of the skies. And Trump linked to that along with some photos, and he one of one of the big turbines and a ton of birds flying by it, and the president saying killing birds by the millions. And then he posts another photo of an eagle lying dead near a wind turbine and a number of other wind turbines in the background. And the president said, eagles going down. So that's been the thrust of a number of these stories recently, have been the number of eagles that have been killed by these wind turbines. The more we learn about them, the less I like the wind turbines. I understand why you've got so many people who don't want these wind turbines. They don't want to live near wind turbines. They don't want them near their homes. They don't want the sun. They don't want, there have been issues regarding health issues for some people. It's just there's not a lot of, I think, I have a hard time seeing the benefit attached to those wind turbines. Also, we had the newly sworn in mayor of New York says he plans to stick to socialism during his inauguration speech. He wants to bring back the era of big government. Okay. I have never seen big government produce results for anybody. Seen them eat up a lot of your money and my money, not producing a lot of results. But Zoran Mamdani, that M and N are difficult for me. Mamdani saying that he wants to replace the rugged individualism of free markets with the warmth of collectivism. Oh, man, I just get sicker and sicker. He said, I've been told that this is the occasion to reset expectations, that I should use this opportunity to encourage the people of New York to ask for little and expect even less. I will do no such thing. The only expectation I seek to reset is that of small expectations. I was elected as a democratic socialist. I will govern as a democratic socialist. I will not abandon my principles for fear of being deemed radical. So whether you consider him to be radical or not, he'll just plow right on ahead. And that's pretty much, I think, what we expected. I can't say that's too many surprises based on the speech that he gave in New York City yesterday. This is an interesting story. This is from thehill.com. GOP lawmakers are fleeing for the exit in droves. Now, keep in mind, legacy media, The Hill is at times are just as bad as CBS News, NBC News, CNN, take your pick. So The Hill is oftentimes just as bad as most of those. So he said, but they're reporting GOP lawmakers are fleeing for the exit in droves, with many pointing to a Congress they argue has grown too dysfunctional and a demanding schedule that leaves little time for their families. And now that sounds reasonable. More than 50 lawmakers in both parties have announced decisions to leave their seats, scrambling the calculus on both sides of the aisle ahead of next year's high-stakes midterms. The wave of exits could be particularly ominous for Republicans. Isn't it? It's always so bad for Republicans. This is typical legacy media reporting, but there are a number of people who are leaving. Representative Chip Roy among them, who's been a fairly conservative voice and fighter. And they're just frustrated by what's going on in Congress. So I kind of understand. I think if you get to that point where you're just so frustrated where you feel like you can't get things done, it's time to leave. I mean, if you're that way in a job, whatever your job is, if you're in your job and you're just feeling frustrated, hey, we can't get things done and we've tried and we can't move forward. There's a time to leave. And I think new blood coming in is, especially in Congress, is always to be good. It's always beneficial. Unfortunately, it's just the wrong people who leave. It's because it's sometimes what you see are the principled people who are the ones who wind up getting so frustrated that they leave, which I think is really unfortunate, making room for the Jasmine Crockett's and her ilk. And I kind of agree with Mark Levin on Jasmine Crockett. He was talking about that, the fact that she's running for the U.S. Senate. And Levin saying, why? She hates the country. She hates everything about that. Why would she want to be a senator when she hates the country? Yeah, absolutely. So apparently lawmakers are getting frustrated and they are fleeing. Some of that. And I've seen some of the resignations and, people talking about it, but we'll see. I like to take the attitude, I think, that, things couldn't be worse. They really couldn't be much worse, at least in Congress now. I'm talking about Congress. Can't be much worse. The Washington Examiner has a piece. Hugo Gurdon has got a piece at the Washington Examiner. He's talking about the Grinch, the activism of Mr. Grinch. And I've not read the entire piece, but I love the way it starts here. He says, now, the Grinch, what would you equate the Grinch with? He's green. Okay, that's so Grinch. He says that mean one, Mr. Grinch, came early and stayed late this year. He arrived before Christmas, then lingered like a bad smell days afterward. The killjoy of seasonal cheer has various guises, but his most common cover for interfering in everyone's harmless pleasures is concern over climate change or animal welfare. Oh, there was a story I saw. I'm going to see if I can find this. The New York Post had it earlier today. PETA responding to, was it Kim Kardashian, I think? He had PETA responding, and I didn't mention this on the air this morning. Oh, I thought I had it. Oh, forgive me. So PETA was apparently Kardashian had posted a photo of 4 new puppies. So she had bought puppies for her family. Okay. So she bought 4 puppies and she posted a photo of the puppy. Now, I will say, giving puppies as a gift, bad idea. Bad idea. You want people to choose their own. You want people to, making a decision to have a dog. That's a decision that you really need to make for yourself rather than having that thrust upon you, somebody else making that decision. Now, you may have wanted a dog and you receive a dog. Sometimes it can work out. Other times, generally, it's just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. And I think Kim Kardashian is kind of the queen of not good ideas, right? So, but she's posting photos of the 4 puppies and, warm and fuzzy and everybody's happy. And of course, here comes, so while we're talking about Grinches, here comes PETA and then that takes off. That news story is trending. And of all the groups that are out there, PETA is just one of the most, to me, just absolutely infuriating. I will never forget. It was years ago, and I forget his name. This was years ago in Sioux Falls. PETA was out and they're doing their annual thing. They show up and they're protesting fur and they're at the fur places. And he shows up. He's wearing his coonskin hat. He's got a big turkey drumstick in his. He's eating off the turkey drumstick in front of the PETA crowd. And that was just absolutely hilarious. I obviously I'm still laughing about that. But PETA and them coming along, and they are just, I think they're starving for opportunities to get themselves into the news. And so Kardashian then giving puppies to her family. Again, I wouldn't suggest it, but I also appreciate that, we make our own choices, right? Make your own choices, do what you think best. But the puppies, I saw the photos. Oh, they're adorable, man. They're absolutely adorable. And then here comes PETA, just like the Grinch, trying to just foul up the whole thing. Just absolutely incredible. I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope you had a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Hope it wound up being a great holiday for you. If you are not a subscriber of mine on YouTube, please become one. I would really, really appreciate if you appreciate content that rather than AI generated content, because there's a lot of that, and there's more and more of it. In fact, the amount there was a piece in the news this morning about the fact that AI generated content, video content, is starting to explode. So it's all generated by AI. If you appreciate human content like what we do on the radio show, what I do here on whether it's YouTube, Facebook, X, wherever you happen to be watching, please subscribe. It really makes a difference. I appreciate all of you. As I mentioned, I think the other day, had more and more folks on X. We're posting the show there in its entirety on X every day. So you can find it at KELO.com. You can find it on my page at X. But subscribing on YouTube, following me on X, on Facebook, all of those things make a difference. This is all human-generated content, no AI here. So I'm going to leave it there for today. You have made it to the end of the video, so you're part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Happy New Year to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. So long until Mondays. Oh, I want to give you a heads up about something too. I mentioned this on the air this morning. I will be gone the entire week of January 12th. That's when I'm having my eye surgery. I hate saying surgery. It's sounds probably more serious than it is. Having some cross-linking done in my left eye, where I have keratoconus quite bad. I spoke about it on the air a little bit this morning, but I will be out the week of January 12th, and I just want to give you a heads up. So otherwise, I'll be back on Monday. So long until then, and I'm underground and gone.